The DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ about the show.
It is a Tuesday night. It is 8 o'clock. Do you know where DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. Yes, it's another DJ Roundtable. Hopefully you're enjoying yourselves and hopefully you are tuning in to have some fun. I first have to thank all the new people who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. And if you want to hear something, you want us to talk about a subject, please put it down below. I like to hear comments, criticisms, and any tomfoolery. I always love that. We are live on Twitch. Check us out on Twitch. We are live on Tuesday nights. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, you are watching the recording the following Monday. We put that live Mondays at noon, so that way it's always a little bit of time, but we answer questions in real time on Twitch, and if you want to ask questions down below, we'll try and answer it in the next episode. But if you're watching it here on the tubes, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you give the thumbs up, make sure you tickle the like button, make sure you do whatever you want to the like button, hit subscribe, check the bell icon, and then one more thing, share the video with another DJ. And the reason why that helps the algorithm, that is a hard beast to slay. We are all YouTubers here. All the links to everyone who has a YouTube channel is down below. And I want to also thank everyone over at Taylor and Jordan over there. I want to thank them for getting onto YouTube's. They got a channel. They got some pretty cool videos over there, little commercials. Hopefully with some gig logs from them. And it's great to see them up on the tubes. Finally, they got one, and I love it on there. But again, I thank you for watching and subscribing and following the channel. And if you haven't done so already, I have 72% of the people who watch the show who are not subscribed. Why not? What's stopping you from subscribing? It's free. It's free entertainment. You get free entertainment, free information, and lots of fun. Plus, I have the coolest DJ on the beach. Cool thing. He's a little cold right now because a little snow down there in South Carolina. We are missing a couple of DJs right now. Hopefully they'll come in, check in a little bit. And we have DJs from all around the world. Yes, I can say all around the world because I have a DJ in Australia. And he's clapping right now. The man who is leaving in the future, because it's already Wednesday there. It's Wednesday afternoon. He's ready for dinner versus we're getting ready for bed soon.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of great DJs. Sean's back, and thank God for that. We got Braylon there over in Texas. We got Chris. Actually, he's not in normally his New York studio. He is in Arizona at the hotel. He's got the mini fridge. We got the keys to the mini fridge.
It's empty already.
We're raiding that mini fridge. Everybody's gonna get free drinks. I don't drink alcohol. I'll drink the Coke or I'll drink Pepsi or whatever. Don't look. Oh, look at that.
He's and rest of.
Well, look, yep. There you go. Look, he's got the beers already. We got Indiana coming in here. We got beautiful Wisconsin coming in, and don't forget, DJ Brentley and I both love Code Blue Cam for lacrosse. Make sure you support Code Blue Cam over there on the tubes. I talk about all the time.
There's a couple new things up. I caught. Oh yeah, we're out there again, and after the last month. There is definitely be some new footage up there real soon.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking a little bit about your New Year's fun and excitement.
Oh,
so, again,
even last weekend.
Oh, well, I guess every day is like the song goes, every day is Halloween. I guess every day is New Year's in lacrosse with the shenanigans going on there.
Oh, we get down. It's just wild up here. It's
there
the wild
you go.
West of the state.
So I always like to ask the panel great questions, and I always come prepared with my sheets of paper with information. You guys can't see the sheet. I do that on purpose because these are all topics we like to talk about. And the topic we're going to talk about tonight, and I want you guys to put your thinking caps on. I'll give you guys a minute or so to think about this. If you were a beginning DJ, if you had to start today, and you had to get a set of speakers, You're starting out. So again, we're not talking you're going to go high end and buy the new QSC line array, unless you want to buy that for your first set of speakers. But I like to hear from everyone a set of speakers that they would purchase that are basically very economically, very cost friendly, that they would build their sound system with. And I'm going to go with first because of the fact that this is something I've talked to actually a couple other really great DJs about. And one of the brands is actually Avante. They have some really great pricing for speakers. They have a 10 and a 12 inch. I would definitely go to a 12. And excuse me. Oh, God. Uh, oh, man. I will put links down below. But Avante speakers, not really expensive. Great looking design. A lot of people have heard the sound, and I know a couple guys, a couple DJs, a couple big names that have looked at them and have used them, and actually said they're really good quality on the sound part. And that to me is a crucial part, is the sound and the quality. And here's one other caveat too. Harvest of Sound, which happened in Boston in December, they rated some speakers there that were like kind of like maybe entry level and price wise that were rated really high. So I want to hear your guys' points of a set of speakers. You know, it could be a 10, it could be a 12, it could be a 15, whatever you guys decide. But give me a couple brands or a brand that if you had to start today and you had to run out and grab, what would you buy? So I'm going to start with Hunter, which, you know, he always likes to start things off with the fun and excitement. So in beautiful snowy South Carolina, which is kind of odd thing to say because they usually don't get too much snow down there, but in beautiful snowy South Carolina, what would you get for your beginning speakers you're just starting out today?
Well, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of JBL, so I would definitely go with their brand new Eon 712s if I had to start building a sound system today. And I would get like the Rockville hydraulic speaker stands to go on top of it, and maybe some rock parts to go underneath it. And it'll look really good if I just had to start today. So I would go with the JBL Eon 712s.
Okay, yeah, and 712s. Okay. And then Kevin, I see you over there. Should give them a price limit or be in a range. And the reason I'm going to say no to that is because different people start with different seed money. And again, I said I want a beginning bargain price speaker. So this is not, again, to shoot up to the, you know, $2,000 per speaker Meyer Sound or $5,000, you know, other ones. This is more or less you're starting out. This is what you would want to go for. And some people have more money than others. So it could be a lower price speaker. It could be what you consider a higher price speaker, but as a beginning speaker, people feel that, hey, it's worth the money to do. So that's why I want to give that range there. But I want to say, hey, someone starting out, what speaker should they go for? And, you know, again, I said the Avante. Cool thing says the Eon, the 712, the 12 inch, and I said a 12 inch. So that right there, those two right there are two brands right there. So I'm going to go over to Sean in beautiful Georgia.
Yeah, snowy Georgia here too for once. So we're getting our taste of winter right now. But
you're from Wisconsin, so it's like for you, it's like nothing. It's like me.
No,
like,
it's nothing.
Yeah, it's like 2 inches.
They canceled school for tomorrow, and we got like a half inch. So I kind of laughed at it.
Southern people, you know, that's not bad. It's not some bad cool thing.
It.
Southern people freak out over snow. It's like for us Northerners, it's like it's nothing.
Well, we're getting 7 to 8 inches.
That's nothing.
It's skated south of us, and I see where you're getting hit, Hunter. So, but speaker wise, let's go $1,000 price range. If you got $1,000 to spend, get yourself two LD Icoa 12s. Awesome speakers, amazing sound, great bass. Don't need a subwoofer with them. Get yourself two of those. Great starting spot. If you don't have that for a budget, Alto is my cheapie to go to. I'm going with the Alto TS 415, and you're picking those up for like $600 for the pair.
Okay. And then If you wanted to add a subwoofer, what subwoofer would you add on to that?
Oh, man. If we're going with the alto route, I'd probably go the EV starter sub. I want to say that one's right around 600. Otherwise, if you're going a little more, LD has one of their subs, and I think you're pushing between 8 and 9 for the LD sub.
I'm a big supporter of having everything the same brand because if you're dealing with warranties and phonics of the sound and how they work, a lot of times like EV or DB or LD or whatever letters you want to put in there, JBL, a lot of times they have DSPs that work with their own product and that can help. And that is, I think, is a huge step up for a beginning DJ. Again, this is a beginning DJ, someone who is starting out and is, hey, you know what? This is my first speakers I'm buying. I'm starting to get into DJing. I want to go out and go do gigs. What that gig is could be, birthday parties, could be weddings, could be whatever it is. I want something that it's going to sound good, but it's not going to not break the bank the first time around. But unless you have that much money, and again, like there's plenty of great arrays and stuff like that to get. So, but that right there is really good. LD Systems, the two-way, the tops. I know Matt has rant and rave how good they are for a top, and I know LD Systems. I have the Maui fives; they're really good. JBL, I have JBL. I had Eons. I know how good of an entry level speaker they are to that, and how good of a sound they have. I would probably say the LD is a little better sounding between the two because I have heard LD12s and I know how the Eons are because again I had them. I think the LD has a little more bass to it and it's not as tinny of a high. JBLs have a little more piercing high to it versus LD is a little more like level toned speaker. So if I had to buy a two-way top and go more entry level, I would probably go to an LD. And then Kevin said he's been interested in the ICOA series speakers. I definitely would say if you're going to do a two-way top and sub, ICOAs do a really great job with that. I'm going to go
They're
to Bradley
great.
because he's biting the tongue ready to speak.
No, ICOAs. Matt turned me on to the LDs. I got the 15s, and have I used them without a sub? Yes, and they shred. Like, and you gave one of the best analogies you could. That like the JBL has a tinny, very piercing high end. An EV like a ZLX has a very rough mid and high pitch to it. High band to it. The LD doesn't have any of those issues.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see the snow for a little bit. I'll be right back.
No problem.
But and with that, the only thing I don't like about the LD, they have the warmth, but they don't have enough throw. Like they're very fat sounding, but unlike a Mackie, for example, and people might call me crazy for saying this, and Mackie has some of the best throw on a budget speaker that I've ever heard. So and this goes right into my choice. If you're going to go for an entry level system, I would say get the Mackie, the 215s. I think they're the Thump 215s now, or whatever they are. And I've got my two paired off with two SR18 subs, which is not the same thing, but whatever. They were I knew I wanted a little bit more kick out of them, and yeah, the subs were, when I bought them, I think like $1,500 a pop, which wasn't bad, but they have a step underneath that. And if you've only got the money for two mains, Mackie Thump 215s would be the way I'd go to start off with, and then get a single 18-inch sub to throw under your table.
And one of the things you're talking about size-wise, I said for the Avante 12s and ICOA 12s versus a 15. I had all my JBLs were 15s. So I had PRX 615, which I still have, SRX the 15s, the Eons the 15s, because I did a lot without subs. A 15 will give you a little bit more bass than a 12, but a 12, if you listen to the engineers from who do speakers, the guys who actually sit there and listen to songs over and over and over again with these speakers in booths and test things. A 10 or 12 is their sweet spot because you can turn that into a mid bass with a sub if you get a sub, but also has good pound for bass wise that'll still hit. It won't hit as hard as a 15. The 15 is going to give you a little bit more dB in the bass than a 12, just because of the circumference of the speaker and more of a bigger cone to throw a little more deeper tone. But again, that's the thing you have to think about what you want to do. Do you want to do a 15 or 12?
In the club I work here regularly in La Crosse, they just install, I don't know the model, but it's the step down from the super top RCF brand speakers. But we've got what now, 10 of the 10-inch speakers surrounding the room basically, and two of their 21-inch subs. And even with the subs off, the 10s threw better than any 15 I could even dream of. But it's RCF, so there you have it.
Well, I like RCF, so I have no problem.
But wow. What, like you were saying, some 10s can throw like an older 15 and they just shred.
And I think one of the things with LD Systems, I think with their technology, because again, they're a leader in the array technology, they do more of the bubble feel to it. So it's a little bit wider cast tweeter, a little wider cast high. So you don't get as far as throw as you do with a Mackie or a JBL or a QSC or EV. EV, they all will throw a little further than LD. But the thing is, again, the sound is a little different. And far as Kevin is asking, is it heavier? I don't know. I think the LD is. I think the LD is pretty beefy.
Yeah, they're like 15 pounds heavier than my EVs.
Here, if I have normally if I'm standing on the ground and I want to throw them on a totem, I've got to get on a chair to make sure I can actually pick it up off of my totem. These things have to weigh at least 70 pounds a pop. They are not light.
So maybe a 10 or 12 is better to go then.
But the thing, if you're only going to be running tops, you need even with LDs, you need something to kick the low.
I think the 12 sounds better bass wise. I really do. I think the 12 has a better bass sound than the 15s.
And when I bought mine, I wanted to make sure, like you were saying, I could get a farther throw with everything rather than really worry about how great the tone was up front, because I was also going to be using subs.
And that's the thing. That's the thing you look at. And again, I'm a big supporter of having everything the same brand. And I kind of learned that when I did I had Yorkville subs. Yorkville dual 10-inch subs sounds funny. You think these little 10-inch little subs in the box, and people thought it was an 18. I would outpound a lot of people with it, and the bass was so clear because they're horizontally opposed subs. It is a crazy technology, and that's one of the reasons why when I bought the DB speakers, they're dual 12, and they use a very similar architecture for the dual 12-inch subwoofers in each bass unit. And it sounds like an 18. It's crazy amount of bass. Then that's a drawback. Definitely need air assist stands then. Yeah, again, that's what you have to look at is the weight. Always look at the specs. Again, I'm going to put links down below on YouTube so people can go and look at the specs. Read the specs, go through things. It'll tell you the SPL. And SPL is what you want to look at. Don't ever look at amps. Someone says, oh, look at the amps. This does 3,000 watts. This does 3 million watts. That's just power consumption. It's like, hey, how fast is your car? It gets 15 miles to the gallon. Okay, that's your consumption, how much gasoline you're taking. Or your Australians would say petrol, and probably, 100 kilometers is 62 miles. So probably like 30 kilometers, I think that would be like 15 miles a gallon. So it's one of the things you got to look at, what it is. And you have to look at SPL. SPL is a key. If you got SPL of 120, 122, 123, 124, that's actually pretty decent SPL. If it's like 105, 100, that's a little bit lower end. Now, again, if you go up to 132, 135, those are screaming. And you'd be surprised it doesn't sound like a lot from 122 to 132. It's a huge difference, a huge amount of sound coming out of the speaker. I'm going to go down to Paul in Australia and ask him because again, this is a little different market, different way of thinking of things. What do you think, sir, down in Australia on the entry level speakers?
Well, it's like if I was starting out, today, it's like, oh, I'm going to be a DJ, sort of, or I've got the skills now. I'm going to make the investment. I'd probably look at something along the lines of the LD, the Dave G4X. It's got two tops and a sub, either the 12 or the 15. I'm not too sure. I've heard it some time back in a showroom at a DJ equipment store, and the other one is also buying a pair of Alto PK TS412s for the tops and two TS185 subs, 18-inch subs, if I was going to go that way with the Altos. But as it stands now, sort of, being biased, I do love my LD Systems Maui 28G3 that I've got a few months back. So, but those two, the LD Daves and the Altos, that's probably what I'd go with. I'd save my pennies and buy those. They're not sort of super high end, although the LD's a decent quality brand. The Altos are pretty good, but they're not an RCF by any means. So that's what
Alto is a decent brand, and that's the thing. A lot of people throw shade at Alto. Alto is a decent brand. Now Alto, the quality of the product, every time I've been to repair centers for stuff, I talk to the techs, and again, I have RCF, I have LD, I have all these different brands. I talk to them, ask them what they see come in, and again, the brand also is popularity too, but it's how fast you get parts. Harbinger, they see Harbinger come in because it's a popular brand, but they're pretty easy to get parts for. Alto is a little harder to get parts for, but they see that quite a bit. The ones they have the most actually hard to get parts for is Mackie. Mackie's very hard to get parts for when I talk to them. They see quite a few Mackies. The other thing was you kind of get into your Behringer and your Gemini. Your Behringer speakers, your Gemini. Again, it is what it is for pricing, but the thing is that getting parts for them, because they change products so quickly, that's the hard thing, is getting those parts to service your speaker. And that's one thing you want to do a little research. Even if you have a speaker repair center nearby, or you can send them to, one of the places I definitely say is Deltronics. We talked about it before. They are actually a national repair center for a lot of brands, and they're located here in the Chicagoland area. There's 2 locations, and lucky thing for me, I could actually drive to the one location. I could drive to both if I want to. I go to the one location on 75th, and it is one of the things that taking stuff there and dropping things off for repair, I really feel that, talking to them, talking to the technicians, you find a lot of information out by a lot of brands and getting whole parts. And I know Brentley had an issue with parts for his controller, and it sucks having, anytime you have stuff in there down and try to get parts for it, but it's how the availability of parts, and plus the manufacturer, especially something new came out, their part bin is very shallow, and that's one of the things, and it's not just one brand, it's multiple brands. It's how they do, because they put all the parts into the products. They want to build the products, and then they go, oh yeah, hey, we need parts. Months down the road, oh yeah, I need to start getting these parts in because we're starting to see problems with XYZ. Buy 2, 1 for parts. That's what Kevin said. If you got that kind of disposable income, I guess you could.
Buddy, you mentioned your place where you get speakers repaired. Like here in Melbourne, there's a place called Total Recoil, and they do pretty much Australia wide. But they do everything from DJ systems through to high end, $150,000, concert array systems and stuff, so they do, from, the, mild-mannered suburban DJ through to, big touring sound system repair jobs. So, that, and I would imagine most states in the US would have, in their capital city, a local repair place that would specialize in, speaker replacement or
It's
speaker
actually
repair
hard.
and what have you.
It's actually hard. Because again, it's a technical thing. There are places, there's more than them here in Chicagoland, but I know that like Brentley, he had to send stuff down because of warranty. A lot of companies have certain places they go to for warranty. So something with warranty for repair or even just general repair. There's sometimes distributors that do repair. Like there's an RCF repair dealer up in Wisconsin. I bought parts from them, and they actually will do repair if you send it to them.
I've got one right down the road from me, well, okay, like 30 minutes away in the next town over that does RCF, JBL, and a couple other brands.
Yeah,
But
there's a
we're
guy
at-
down in was it not Manuka? There's one way south, down 57. It's like an hour and a half away from me. He's faster for repair though than Deltronics. Just Deltronics gets so much volume, it takes longer for them to repair because they get so much in. But yeah, it's actually harder to find repair places, especially places authorized to repair that, especially you have that warranty on the product. And that's one of the things you want to look at as well is warranty on the product. I'm going to go over to Texas, to the beautiful state of Texas, and I know everything is bigger in Texas. I just saw the last thumbnail from the last episode, but I have I have you pointing to your chin right here. Yep, I have you pointing to your chin for that thumbnail. So I'm like, that's a perfect thumbnail. So if you guys were here the last episode, you guys know the joke. If not, you need to go back and watch the last episode. And Crossfire DJ, I see what you're saying there. He loves his Mackie thumps. 15 tops, 18 subs work well outside of one of my regular gigs. And then he competed against RZR SX SDs. Not sure on that what that is. But the thing is that again, if you listen to the technicians that work in the manufacturers' facilities, they tell a lot of people, including a couple of people I know, have gone to some of the big brands, and they all say the same thing when they're in the booth testing speakers. A 10 or 12 is the way to go if you're going to pair with a sub all the time. If not, you can get with a 12 or a 15. But what entry level speaker would you do to start off with? What would you go?
I would probably go if we're doing like pretty decently entry, pretty cost efficient. I would definitely either do the Mackie Thump, or one of the Altos. If you're just going to be worrying about tops and not needing a sub, I didn't do this when I started, but looking back, I wish I did. I wish I would have gotten 15s for the tops. I actually started off with 12s, and I did fine for sure. But looking back, I should have just gone with 15. So I would say Mackie or Alto for the entry. And then honestly, if you have a little bit more in your price range, a little bit more like in your budget, the EV ZLX line is what I kind of graduated to when I switched from my Alto 12s. I went to the ZLX 12s. They were solid for sure. They got me through everything I needed them to get through. I actually only sold them about a year ago. I had them as like my extra fill speakers for whenever I had bigger events. I kind of kept them for that reason. But yeah, Mackie or Alto to kind of get you in the game. And then if you want to graduate or have a little bit more money and can do it, ZLX on top of that if you can handle it.
What would you see the big difference between the two in sound or quality, or what you saw that one had over the other for the difference in price?
So honestly, so there's two sides of it. The sound of the EV, just to my ear, the best way I can explain it, it just really started to sound more like on the way up to a better middle higher end speaker. I can't really describe. I can't. Well, it's more. I can't really remember. It's been that many years. But it's more of there was just more sharpness and crispness to the mids and highs, and then the lows weren't like too rattly and kind of cheapy rattly, if that makes sense. But that also comes with the build. In my opinion, the higher you go up, the build of the actual speaker case does kind of change too. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say there. And then if we're going subwoofer also, I'm a fan too, buddy, of keeping it in the same brand. Mackie and Alto both have matching subs to whichever line you get. So if you can't do an 18, at least get a 15. Just get a little extra something, but 18 preferred. And then for the EV side of it, I mean, shoot, you can get the ELX line that they have. The ELX sub would pair well with the ZLX. Yeah, that's what I would do, and that's also kind of what I did. Was started with Alto, graduated to EV, and yeah, which is kind of what I did.
Yeah,
and what I recommend.
Yeah. Get this. I was actually gonna get the ZLX 12Ps, but they were out of my price range, so I went with the JBLs.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is that it's all just going to be whatever's in your price range. I mean, as long as you're not using, like monitor speakers that you would have on your desk. I mean, if you're getting started, do your thing. I know, right? Actually, so really funny story. So my parents own a dance studio here in Fort Worth in Texas. That's like their occupation.
Okay. Hold on one second here. So you're a dancer as well as a DJ. So are you known to dance DJ down there in Texas?
Yeah, I was indeed. But I'm not even kidding you. How I started my DJ career was using my father had two Radio Shack passive 15s. He had 4 of them. So he had 4 passive Radio Shack 15s. They were like the black with like the red lining in them. Honestly, pretty damn loud. Not gonna lie, they were loud for what they were back then. But yeah, just a powered amp, pushing those passive. That's how I did my first like handful of events, and then I finally I would just borrow them and then take them back. It was great. So that's how I truly started.
Those speakers are actually really good speakers. If you go back to the Radio Shack and their brand, they actually had some really good speakers. A lot of DJs had Radio Shack mixers and Radio Shack speakers because they sounded really good. They had nice tweeters, they had nice drivers for the lower end, and they had a good look to them. And they did not look like the consumer home grade speakers like some speakers do. But the thing is that they actually had a great set of speakers. So you start off with Radio Shack is what a lot of DJs who are older, like, not myself, but other people I know my age, it's old folks. It's old folks, not my lawn. It's one of the things. You go back to the 80s and 90s, a lot of DJs used that, and that's actually
I think the brand was Realistic. Is
Realistic, yep.
Realistic?
Yep, Realistic.
Yeah, in Australia, Radio Shack was called Tandy Electronics, but yeah, we had all the stuff.
That's your parent company. Radio Shack was the store brand, but Tandy was the corporation that owned Radio Shack. So to always say Radio Shack, you say Tandy Corporation. But yeah, and Realistic is the always had their brand everything. I actually still have over there, not far away in my little cubby over there of stuff. I have a little Radio Shack mixer for microphone. It runs on 9-volt battery, and I used that for many years.
I have my Radio Shack speaker sitting in a garage, and I'll tell you, it wasn't Realistic brand. They changed brands to Optimus. And,
that's later on.
Yeah. So later on, So who made their tweeters was Powerline. They made their custom tweeters for that, and as for their woofers, I don't remember who's the manufacturer. For some reason, some people were telling me years ago it was unbranded. They were actually Pioneer speakers. I don't know how accurate that was, but that's what people have said to me. I'm like, I'll check that another day.
Can you come a little closer to the microphone, Chris? Because it's a little hard to hear you.
Well, hard to do that here in the hotel room. Sorry.
And you want to tell everyone where you're at really quick, and what you're doing there in Arizona besides enjoying the warmer weather?
Yes, I'd be happy to give some details on that. I am in Tempe, Arizona, um, close to the ASU campus, and I'm here for a foam convention from Foam Daddy. They're the supplier of foam and foam machines for much of the industry, and something I'm branching into. I've done a lot of foam events in the last couple of years as I acquired a foam machine, relatively very inexpensive, and I've been operating that same machine for years. So I've upgraded that machine, changed it up. Can't say I put branding on it yet. That's going to probably come soon. Who knows? But I've definitely made some improvements. I said I think I can continue on doing this and make a niche in my market because I don't know anyone else as I search online and who's doing party foam in my area. They're pretty far away down in the city, New York City, and Long Island. I think there's a couple of companies out there that are doing that.
Cool. And that is the big thing you're out there for, is for the party foam. But again, with party foam and have a party, you need to have some speakers. So Chris, what would you say would be some good speakers for entry level starting out as a DJ? What would be your go-tos?
So entry level, if you're starting out, I don't know how well serious you're considering this person to adventure to DJing, but it's a very important question. Are you doing this as a hobby? Are you going to be a business owner, or you're going to be an entrepreneur in the industry? What do you want to do being a DJ? So I would first look at that. But as for the speakers you want, how big do you want to go? Do you want something small, compact, doing small, house parties? Are you doing big birthday parties? Do you want to do weddings? It's based on the application, the number of people. As for budget, I would probably start off renting speaker from another DJ company. There's plenty of them that do that, and find out what sound you want to have and go with, and you'll find what you want. So you can definitely stay within your budget if you're just starting out. A lot of guys in my area, they're all about EV. I see a lot of people moving on to the column arrays, the LD systems. They're all incredible. I would have to say I would be more impressed with the LD Maui that people been talking about. Is it G32s or 33s, whatever those were?
Or the Maui LD systems?
Yep.
The well, you get the 28s, the 44s, and the 32s. Those are line arrays. Those are up there in cost, though. When you start getting into the line arrays, the LD systems, the Maui 5s, the Maui 5 Go's are over $1,000 each. So you're doing $2,000. You start getting into 28s or you get into 44s, you're up there at, $2,000, $2,500, almost $3,000 per speaker. And someone who's starting out, probably not everyone, there's gonna be a few, probably doesn't have all that seed money to put into a speaker system. So that's one of the things you got to look at. And again, it's very important to know what you're trying to go for, what you're trying to do, how big of an event you're trying to go for. But if you're starting out, you may not figure that out yet. And again, having some idea, it is a smart thing you want to figure out, what kind of feel you want to go into as a DJ. But the other part, which is a cool thing you touched on, is going out and renting. There's companies who will rent, including Guitar Center will rent speakers to you. There's a few other places, DJ stores, that will rent speakers to you. So that might be a way. Hey, I don't know, call the store up. Hey, can I rent XYZ? Okay, fine, great. Rent it. Try it out. In a backyard or whatever, and say, yeah. Don't do it in your house, because what you sound like in your living room, it's totally different than a large room. You actually have people filled with people. So that's one of the things right there that I know a lot of guys, they put it up their house, like, it sounds awesome. They get outside to get to a gig. They're like, oh, it doesn't sound the same. The area that you're covering, a large, nice, good sized ballroom filled with people, with tables, with chairs, with all that stuff in there, absorbs sound, it reflects sound, windows reflect sound, dance floors reflect sound, carpet absorbs sound. There's all these scenarios, all these different areas. And that's why, listening to different speakers is not a bad thing. And maybe trying a couple different speakers before you actually sit down and say, hey, let's buy this. Let's have this brand or that brand. Crossfire said, what would be a good speaker for all weather mobile rigs? When you start doing outdoor events, those usually are passive speakers with a amplifier separate, and they usually have a weather gear that goes on top of them. So it all boils down to what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do like outdoor, like an event like that, you're actually running an array and you're flying an array. Usually, if you know it's going to be bad weather or something like that, a lot of times they're passive arrays running through an amplifier. Now, some of the newer ones, like, RCF and some of the other companies that make the larger arrays for, like, concert level, like your Taylor Swift level sound systems, those are usually designed for all weather. But the thing, and they're usually like IP65 rated, so they can actually take some rain, but they still have certain protocols they have to follow through with, and they also have covers for them. They're designed to cover and protect the speaker from rain. The Sound Couple have been on our show a few times, and they actually had subwoofers at one of the venues underneath a stage, and they put their weather cover on them, the subwoofer, to protect them from beer. So that's one of the things that you can always look at. But again, when you do that, you're adding heat to the speaker. So that's one of the things you got to look at and say, okay, which is the bigger thing? Heat will fatigue your speaker. Well, my light went out. Heat will fatigue your speaker and cause the speaker to actually degrade and depower, versus keeping it cool and it may get wet. So again, I would definitely look at manufacturer specs and see which one works there. Adrian E., what's going on, man? And I see that you're here. And also, he's asking any update on a meetup for Driftless DJs there, Brentley.
Not yet. Not yet.
There you go. There's your answer there, sir. So I'm going to go over to Taylor and Jordan. They have been waiting patiently, but I love hearing their input. And it's one of the things that I know you guys have a lot of different sound systems, a lot of different equipment, kind of like myself and a lot of the other DJs here. But what would you say would be your selection of entry-level speakers? What would you go for your first set if you're just starting out?
I think the Mackies and the Altos are both great entry-level speakers. I've had both of them, many pairs. But if I were picking, I would pick two EEV ELX 12s. I would spend the extra money and get something nice, and then work towards some subs.
Okay, ELX 12. Okay, and what does your wife think? She's the same boat you're in, or she has a different idea?
I have no. I don't know. Whatever we use is whatever we use. I mean, if I only have so much money, I kind of see what I can afford and go from there. You got to look into it and research it and ask your friends and see who's used it, really.
And here's one of the questions also. I always see a show of hands. Who here would buy speakers from Amazon? You would buy your speakers from Amazon. Okay, so two people would buy.
Possibly.
Okay.
Where do you think I got my LDI Koas and white when no one had them?
If we're talking name brand, but like Amazon
Yeah.
sells like some Pro Rec brand and stuff, and those are
Oh no. I'm not talking about the stuff that you find on Temu. I'm not talking about Temu stuff. And I would definitely
they sell them
say,
on Amazon too.
I know they're on Amazon. I would definitely say that do not get the Pro Rec stuff as an entry level speaker. That right there is just. Crossfire says a friend of his bought the Pro Rec. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. The Pro Rec at the house, consumer grade. I would probably say yeah, but just looking at how they work and especially their arrays that one connects to another. One amplifier to amplifier goes out, you have no speakers whatsoever. There's a lot of things there I see. I'm like, yeah, He was advised not to by you. There you go. But yeah, I would not never buy speakers from Amazon. Here's the reason why. Sweetwater, PSSL, well, not PSSL is gone, but Hollywood DJ, a lot of the DJ stores will give you a better deal and work with you versus the advertised price. Now, Amazon, they had the advertised price.
NLFX cut me a huge deal when I bought 4 Maui column arrays. I'm like, I need a pair in black and a pair in white.
You bought 4. This is a start out DJ. He only needs 2.
But even with 2 speakers, they will work with you. Even if you walk into Guitar Center.
Really did. Yeah, I get my Guitar Center online. I go online and get mine from Guitar Center.
If you walk into the store or give them a call, you will get a better price. Just like if you call NFLX Pro, you call a lot of these stores that carry the product you're looking at. So if you're looking at the product and you look online, you'll see the price all within about probably 5 cents of each other. You go to Amazon, they'll be the same price you see online because that is the minimum price they have to advertise, called MAP. Minimum advertised price. They have to advertise that price. Now, they could be having a sale at the store, or you call up and say, hey, I'm looking for 2 ZLX speakers from EV. What can I do? What can you do? And they'll give you a price. They'll shoot you a price. 9 times out of 10, that price is going to be lower, or they may have a special like, hey, free covers with these speakers. Or, hey, I'll give you free speaker stands. Like some of the companies will have a package that's equal to the price of Amazon with speaker covers and stands and still have a little bit lower pricing. So that's one of the things. Asking if you email, texting them. They have text lines you can text. Give them an email. Give them a call. Going into those stores, if they're nearby you, I really feel will give you a better buy and a bigger hit with your dollar and make your dollar go further.
You'd be hard pressed to get LD Systems the Maui series speaker covers chucked in for free because here in Australia it cost me $600 for the 2 subby covers and the 2 bags for the tops. It costs $600 on top of the speaker price, which are $2,000 each for each LD Maui 28 G3. So yeah, so not cheap. So.
Yeah,
but sometimes you might struck it lucky.
And that's the thing. They may have a set that was just returned by someone. Someone opened the box up. So I'll give a scenario here. Hunter goes and buys new speakers. He buys speaker A. That speaker is the coolest speaker ever. Hunter gets it, says, you know what? I like speaker B more. And again, I'm not getting brands here because we're just a scenario. Those speaker A he sends back to this store. I'm not talking about Amazon. I'm talking about, whatever store it is. And he worked a deal out with them. Well, they get these speakers back. Hunter took them out of the box, put them onto a stand, plugged them up to a system, listened to them for about a half hour, said, hey, I'm not a fan for these. I like to have speaker B. Sends them back to the company. Company that has an open box item used for a half hour. Now, mark on them, well, we can't sell these as new. I have an open box. You want them? They're going to heavily discount because they don't want it. They can't sell it as new because, again, Hunter already touched it. So that's one of the things also, if you want to save some money, is ask for open box stuff. Look for that kind of things. And that actually right now is that time because a lot of people got stuff for Christmas and they got their little gifts and they weren't happy and they want to exchange them for other gifts. So that's one of the things to look at. And Kevin, I know you asked follow-up question, would they start with a starter set and then go to where they're going to end up? Or how many initial steps of speakers will you go through? It depends on how long you're in the industry for. If you're like, Hunter, who's like, 28 years old and starts today and he's in the business for 25 years, he may go through 10 pairs of speakers. And by the time he gets to his 10th pair of speaker, he can have the Meyer sound speakers that are $5,000 each. So it all boils down to what they're doing, how much money you want to put in there. but you could keep your introductions, your entry level speakers, and keep them as backup. I had the Eons, the second generation Eons that went bad. I replaced them with the third generation Eons, and I had those third generation Eons all the way until last year. So I had them for like 12 years, and I used them probably a dozen times, and I sold them to DJ Fire. So it's one of the things that, again, having it and having it for a while, having more than one set of speakers is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I actually have a similar story. I actually have my Eon 612s as my main speakers. I still have my Ion Total PA Maxes as my garage setup speakers, and they sound great after 6, 7, 8 years of using them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes you'll want to have a garage setup or a setup in their house to party at their house, and that's not a bad thing. For entry level, I would suggest getting a 15-inch alto. Yeah, that's a couple of people have said that. I've seen iDJ Now has a lot of combo packages. Yes, they do. iDJ Now has also some open box stuff as well. And then I can't think of the name of the place out east. They're in New York City, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But they have open box stuff. And if you talk to
it's
them,
not Canal Sound and Lighting, is it?
No, Canal always has. They have good deals too. There's another one I bought my first set RCS from, and I can't think that what they are off the top of my head. And I know it's not Canal. Canal, again, another great place out east for sound. They do phenomenal deals.
Buddy, one thing I also think that I would honestly recommend with, like, take this as it is, but for me and my experience and like my come up with getting equipment as a DJ, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Facebook Marketplace is a great option if you do the right things by asking the right questions, by looking at the product and seeing how they took care of it. If it has a whole bunch of scratches on it, run. Don't even look at it because they didn't care about the piece. I'm being honest with you, I bought about 75% probably of my early stage equipment off of Facebook, but asking the right questions. And I always had great luck. Nothing ever broke on me, and I used the crap out of them, and then I resold them for basically almost what I got them for. I was able to do that. So I would honestly recommend budget kind of stuff. Look at Facebook, but ask the right questions. Hey, how many times were these used? Have you had any issues? What's your reason for selling them? Blah blah blah. If they're saying, yeah, I've gigged them every single weekend for 6 years, nah, maybe don't get them because they've been ridden pretty hard. But if it's
it depends on the price too.
A few times. Well, yeah, of course, price. That's what I mean. Like, price is, if the price is attractive or less than what you can get it for new online, look into it, but just ask the right questions and use your gut on that too, and be safe when meeting strangers. But yeah.
Pro Audio Star, that's the place. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That's where I got my RCS from. Thank you, Adrian.
Pro Audio.
Yeah, Pro Audio Star. That's another one. They have a lot of times open box stuff, and that's one of the things. Buying used gear, and again, there's places that sell used gear online. You can buy used DJ gear, used speakers if you want to go to lesser price. This is the only analogy I have for that. Used gear, it was someone else, and again, like you said, you don't know how they took care of it. It's kind of like buying a car from a rent-a-car place. Now, my dad bought a station wagon, a Chevy station wagon from Hertz. Great vehicle. Never really didn't have money problems with it. My dad actually had to give it up because it started rusting out. Other than that, was a very good car. Whoever had it never beat it up. It was never anyone doing neutral drops and stuff like that. But then you go on to some of the social media and you see people out there go rent a Hellcat for a weekend, and they're doing burnouts in the middle of a street and getting pulled red police and getting chased by. And then before you know it, they're on Code Blue Cam going up to La Crosse. So it's one of the things you want to find out. Were they took it out for a weekend just to, hey, I enjoy and cruise up and down the road a little bit and, had some fun? Or are they doing donuts in parking lots and doing crazy things with it, neutral drops, at every stoplight.
And that's
So
why you just got to ask the right questions, look at the pictures, and you got to test it when you get there. Like test it for a few minutes. Don't just, oh, the power switch turns on. Great. I see a green light. Perfect.
yeah,
Test it.
that's perfect.
Play
Make
music
them
through
play
it. Do
something. Make them play
something.
something.
Yeah. And if they're sketchy about that, if they're like, oh, it's fine. Oh, no, I'm not interested. Sorry, I'm going.
One more caveat to that. If you're going to buy stuff off of Amazon, if you're not sure about the person, meet them at a local police station. Say, hey,
100%.
your police departments. Actually, a lot of municipalities have what they call sales zones, or they have social media sales zones. Basically, an area in the parking lot. It's in the police station parking lot. They'll have the area set up that you can pull in there. You're selling something. I've done it here. I've sold a vehicle. I sold a few other things. And I say, hey, meet you at the municipal office right here for our police department. And it's the city hall and the police station. Meet him there in the parking lot. And the cop comes up, what's going on? Oh, I'm meeting so-and-so. I'm buying stuff off Marketplace. Oh, great. And you have a conversation with a police officer. And it lessens the likelihood of someone trying to do something, because someone does something stupid, they're probably not going to do it in a police parking lot unless they're in La Crosse. Then that's all bets are off there.
Oh, boom!
I can neither confirm nor deny anything illegal has ever happened in the La Crosse Police Department when I've walked by at 3 or 4 in the morning, leaving downtown La Crosse.
Hey, you know what? What happens there stays in La Crosse. It's kind of like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I want to go back to Jordan and Taylor real quickly. I know you guys have more than just DJ equipment and stuff like that, and you've sold stuff on Marketplace. How fast do you see people buying things off of Marketplace?
Depends on what it is. When I put some lights on there, I just get a bunch of hits of people. I like look at their profile and I'm like, I'm not meeting this person. But I sold some speakers over the summer to a band out in Aurora, and he came out, and I sold my EV ELXs, and it went fine. I pulled a mixer out, hooked them all up, played some music through them, and we met them right at my office, so it was public, and yeah.
Well, that's one great thing. You guys have actually an office you can meet people at and kind of do that. But if you don't have an office, meet at the police station.
I find that lights, you just get a bunch of junk because they're so you're selling them so cheap. It's just a bunch of junk leads that it either doesn't pan out, or they want a ridiculous deal, or they want to meet somewhere sketchy. And
I'll meet you at I'll meet you in the alley behind the bowling alley in this really bad town. Just go past the homeless people, and I'll meet you over there. There's no lights over there. Don't turn your headlights on.
I got 2 attack dogs that are very obedient. I'll meet you at my house. One of them can pretty much jump my back fence if I really had her have her do it, because she can jump that high, but I've never taught her to scale the fence.
Well, I guess Brantley, when I come up there to move in with you and crash on your couch, like we said last episode, I guess I'll get to know your dogs.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful. I love my dogs. One lives up. I can't keep them together anymore because of how aggressive they've gotten over the years. Which one of them may be getting put on doggy Prozac to calm that down, because she was the abused one that she can't get any further without some major a catalyst of some kind.
Well, hopefully I'll work out with her, and then we'll make her relax a little bit. Nothing like a relaxed pupper. My pupper's been here a few times.
Yeah,
she's a mutt though. She's not pure breed anything, but she is a knucklehead, and hopefully hopefully everything works out fine with that. And as always, speaking of some knuckleheads, we are full of knuckleheads here. We're all knuckleheads. We're all DJs. We're all crazy. We love gear. And if you like to hear more about gear and stuff like that, please don't be afraid to say stuff down below in the chat on YouTube. we have some great people here, and I always I'm thankful and grateful for them being here. Crossfire says also me also. He is also a knucklehead and a gearhead. He loves his gear. He loves. Let's talk about gear. And Crossfire, welcome to the DJ Roundtable world. I know you're in the Facebook group, and that's the other thing. Also, we have a Facebook group. And if you're in the Facebook group, the DJ Roundtable Facebook group, make sure you invite other DJs. We want to grow it and be helpful with people, and people can post pictures and post stuff there. It's a great group. We got a great amount of people there. I put some polls up there, including what kind of pizza you like to have in that group. Again, it's not just, it's a little bit outside the DJ world, but we all eat, and those are one of the things. I know that. I know Brentley, he was going for his little group where they all hang out at Quick Trip with a Q up there in Wisconsin. All these people showing that.
No, K. It's KT.
Oh, I'm sorry, K. That's right. I'm QT down here. That's KT up there. Yeah, that's right. KT, Quick Trip up in Wisconsin, and how they all go to it after a gig. So it's one of the things. What else you want to do? Knuckleheads? Yeah, knuckleheads. We're all crazy. We're all DJs. We're all crazy for gear.
And I also got my own show. So if you guys are watching on Twitch, make sure you go over to Time to Spend OG on Thursday nights around the same time for my show, and Buddy's on there as well.
I have been on there. Yes, I have. So with that said,
I got one more cheap speaker. Nobody brought up a cheap column array. So if you want a column array to start things off, Guitar Center right now has the Harbinger MLS 1000, $499 a speaker, $200 off. If you're looking for an entry level column array, 123 decibels, they're a decent entry level column array.
And
about half the price of a cheap LD.
They were actually rated very well in Harvest of Sound in the shootout, and that is one of the key things. I know Kevin has a set of the of them, and I know that Dwayne also has a set of the.
I demoed them. I demoed them for like a month. My only reason I didn't keep them is I don't like the way they connect. It's a plastic connection. It chipped a little just in use from the few gigs I used them. That was my one downfall. The sound on them, though, was great.
And that's the thing, is that sometimes the price is low for a reason. And that's one of the things you have to consider when you're buying stuff. Is it worth going to that, or is it worth putting a few dollars more out and going to a better speaker? So, yeah. It's one of the things you have to look at, and how you take care of your gear too. We all try and take care of our gear. We buy cases, buy bags. Some manufacturers include bags, some don't. But take care of your gear. Your gear will take care of you. So with that said, we're going to go out tonight, but I'm actually going to have Sean take us out tonight. He hasn't been here for a bit. He's been running like a chicken with his head chopped off, so busy down here in Georgia. It's glad to have him back here again tonight. And of course, we have Braylon over there from beautiful Texas back here again. Hopefully we'll have him back here at least one more time before he's got to go back to the grind, because I know he's always busy. But I thank you all out there for being here. So, Sean, take it away tonight.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the DJ Roundtable. It's great talking with you guys tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.